welcome to Legally Speaking with me, Tarun Nangia. Today, we start with some good news. The show will be focused on that Mr. HIROO ADVANI of ADVANI and Company and his whole team has joined BHARUCHA and Partners, a very well-regarded, well-known firm in this country. And Mr. Justin BHARUCHA heads the firm as managing partner. Uh, Mr. HIROO ADVANI will bring in his expertise, connections, and vast experience along with his whole team as senior partner, which will, in a sense, benefit this firm. Recently, we've seen, many, in a sense, switches between law firms where people are joining, and this is indeed a significant move because, in a sense, how famous both these personalities are. Mr. HIROO ADVANI, a well-known man, is in his own right in the field of law, and Mr. Justin BHARUCHA, who runs a very well-known firm. At the outset, we'll discuss what this means for both of them. How do they see the market in India in the coming 4-5 years with the economy and the foreign investments that are increasing by the day? What kind of work they will do in the coming future? Any areas where they will expand? We'll get to know a lot more from them. But at the outset, let me request Justin BHARUCHA to make a small opening comment. Then we go to Mr. HIROO ADVANI for his intervention. Over to you, Mr. BHARUCHA.
Thanks, Tarun. Justin is more than sufficient for all purposes. But thank you very much for inviting us. We're delighted to be here. So, you said small comments. So I'll start by saying we're thrilled to have HIROO as part of the firm now. We're working together. It's not something which anyone can plan for in terms of foresight, but as an advantage and an opportunity, it's brilliant, and we're very, very happy to be working together.
Okay, nice. I'll go to Mr. HIROO ADVANI. If you can, in a longish comment, speak about your experience and your decision to join BHARUCHA and Partners with your whole team. Over to you, Mr. ADVANI.
Thank you, Tarun, for having me on your show. I've specialized in arbitrations for a long time, a mixture of domestic, and I've done a lot of international arbitrations as well, all over the globe. And I will continue to specialize only in arbitrations. And therefore, I hope to, having joined BHARUCHA and Partners, increase their arbitration practice substantially because they're a much bigger firm than us. I think that'll give us a lot more opportunities all over India and all over the globe to do more arbitrations because, quite frankly, you need a bigger setup with the sort of volume of arbitration we'll be doing and the size of arbitration we'll be doing. We would need a bigger setup, and I hope to be able to use it in a nice way to grow the practice with BHARUCHA and Partners in arbitration.
Okay, point well taken. I'll go to Justin now. Justin, because you run this law firm and you are well versed with how the market is going to, in a sense, grow in the coming 18 to 24 months. What does the market across different practice areas and different geographies, in the sense, geographies within India, the Maharashtra market, they say the Bombay, the market in the south, the market in Delhi, how does all that look to you?
So I think, obviously, it's a growing economy, which is good. And that in itself throws out a lot of opportunities. As someone has said, you've got to struggle really hard not to grow in India. And I think that sort of sets the overarching position. Now, obviously, we have regional variations, and then there are different ways to address that. But our practice model, I think we've designed it in a way which we think works very well to address those variations without derogating from our thematic position, right, which is of practicing the law and of delivering value, right? We're not in the volume game in the sense of we want to do 1 million matters a year and we have to do that, or we have to hit a particular number of bench or something of that sort. That has never been our vision. Our vision has always been that we work. We're very proud of our work. We do the work we enjoy doing, and across practices, we're not limited. And as you said, that's part of sort of the attraction for him insofar as joining us is concerned. Now, that being the value proposition we offer, we do find that it is attractive to clients across the regional variations, right? Across the country, we do see that traction. And for my part, I'm hoping that we continue with that trajectory, right? I think we are going to see more and more mandates across the value chain in terms of ticket size, if you will, or in terms of consideration and issue. We will, I think, continue to gravitate towards the upper end of that, but that doesn't mean that we will be sort of ignoring work which doesn't necessarily meet a metric, a financial metric. That's always been how we've run things. Sorry, you're on mute, sir.
Point well taken. I'll go to Mr. HIROO ADVANI. The government has kickstarted a huge program of arbitrate in India. We saw the Prime Minister speaking on this. Certainly, India, because of about $150 billion going to be invested in infrastructure projects, presents a large opportunity in construction arbitration because disputes are a natural fallout whenever these investments are made. Yesterday, the Minister of Road Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, also mentioned that 1 lakh crores are going to be spent to make tunnels. This will all lead to a lot of disputes which need to be resolved quickly. How do you plan to, in a sense, capture a piece of this market? And also, because most of these arbitrations will be local and in India, how do you see the future for arbitration as a practice in the law firm sphere?
I see arbitration in India growing very fast because, as you said, there's a huge focus of the government on infrastructure, all kinds of infrastructure. And our experience has been largely in infrastructure projects. We have acted against a number of PSUs in very large projects, including companies like ONGC, etc. And we've seen a little bit of a marked change. Sometimes now even PSUs are asking us to appear for them, although we are not impaneled with them, etc. But in big arbitrations now, major PSUs, Steel Authority of India, JNPT, Hindustan Petroleum, all have approached me in the past for their bigger arbitration, and especially in the bigger international arbitrations. Because sometimes the foreign companies are working in India, and some of them will insist on arbitration clauses in London or Paris or Singapore. And sometimes the PSUs have no choice in the matter. If they're the only, there's a really strong party who they wanted, whose services they need, and that company then tells them, we will only agree to this because we'll have arbitration in Paris or Singapore. Sometimes the PSUs have no choice, they will agree. And the reason why PSUs and while foreign companies are insisting on a foreign arbitration is because the court systems there are more efficient. Here the arbitration is becoming pretty efficient. It's being done very well, but all the awards are challenged in court. And as you know, because of the backlog in courts, by the time the issue is resolved, can take 7 to 10 years. While if you do it in Singapore, all arbitrations in the Singapore court will be resolved within a year. So there is an attraction still of doing some of the arbitrations overseas, and bigger companies always prefer that. Whether they can persuade the government to do arbitration internationally or not is going to be a question that we're going to find out in the future.
Point well taken. I'll go to Mr.
If I can, but actually, Tarun, if I can just add to what HIROO said, right? I think you hit it absolutely on the head when you said that the arbitration space, construction arbitration, it's really looking like a very high growth practice area for all Indian law firms and all lawyers in India. And I think with HIROO's vast experience and our existing arbitration practice, which necessarily involves a significant amount of construction arbitration, I think that is something we're going to be looking at fairly closely amongst a couple of other situations and scenarios. I wouldn't say sector specific in that sense, but certainly practice specific growth is likely to come from these places.
Point well taken. I'll go to Mr. HIROO ADVANI for one final intervention. Mr. ADVANI, two things. Uh, India is a highly competitive market, but also a market which is expanding hugely. Any specific geographies that you are concentrating, or you're concentrating pan India for your work?
I'm concentrating very much pan-India, but Tarun, if I may just come in, I've had some conversations with some senior people in the government who are all now thinking of setting up a specialized arbitration court. So after the award is done, just like we have the NCLT for bankruptcies, whether it's going to be a tribunal or a special commercial court, we are not sure. But there's a lot of talk within the government of forming special courts to hear only arbitration matters, so that the international community is then quite happy to do arbitration in India because they have a lot of respect for the Indian judiciary. It's just the time taken is such that everybody worries about that. When you have a special court only taking up arbitration matters, I think you'll invite a lot more international arbitration into India and make India an international hub, like the CJI has been talking about and the law minister has been talking about. But without those special courts dealing with only arbitration matters, it's going to be an uphill task.
Thank you for that intervention. I wish my best wishes to both of you. It was a pleasure to have both of you on this talk about the new Bharucha and partners after Mr. HIROO ADVANI has joined. In fact, in the coming shows, we will get an opportunity to discuss dispute practice with you in detail. But that's it for now. Appreciate your time and appreciate that both of you could join. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tarun.
Thank you. Thanks, Tarun.
Hi, Tarun.
Hey, so let us start this. Yes, recording is on, so we just go. Now we are joined by Advocate SHASHANK, who spent a significant amount of time working with Mr. Advani, now who's joined Bharucha and partners. SHASHANK will share some anecdotes, inputs about Mr. Advani, and because he also, is a very well-regarded name in the field of arbitration, I think SHASHANK will be the best person to explain us. Over to you, Mr. Garg.
Thank you so much, Tarun, for inviting me to this very, very interesting discussion, especially when it is about HIROO's next step in his professional life. Many people may not know, but I used to be part of a small practice called Accendo Law Partners, which we merged with Advani and Company way back in 2011. And it really happened, since you wanted an anecdote, I must tell you, it really happened because both HIROO and I were looking at the same client for the same matter. And we had that sort of a meeting where, just with a gap of 30 minutes, my team and HIROO's team were in the client's office in Chennai. The client indicated something to us, also indicated something to Mr. Advani. Later on, I got a call from him saying that, why don't we pitch for this client together, because he seems interested in giving both of us a little bit of work. And that's how really the interaction started. Ultimately ended up with my small practice merging with Advani and Company, and we carried on the Delhi office from there. So I'm very, very pleased to know the step that he has now taken to merge with Bharucha. Both of these practices, Advani and Company and Bharucha and Partners, are old firms with a significant name in disputes practice. It's just a great fit. I don't think it could have been better. Now we are seeing these kind of mergers happening globally. Recently we saw Allen Overy and Sherman Sterling merger. So I think the firms are now realizing that it's time for collaboration, and there is enough in the market. Of course, competition will be there, but there is enough for everybody to eat. So very, very pleased to hear this great news.
SHASHANK, one small comment from you I would request. See, India, in a sense, is going to witness $150 billion investment in infrastructure. The Minister of Road Transport and Highways 2 days ago mentioned he's going to spend 1 lakh crores building tunnels. all this presents a lot of responsibility on the Indian legal ecosystem to quickly resolve disputes that may arise while these projects are being executed. Do you see the work going up significantly? Because infrastructure is the big vision and mission of this government, that you have to build world-class infrastructure and quickly.
Absolutely, it's not something that is too futuristic. We are already seeing that sort of a growth in last decade. The graph is constantly moving up. There is a significant interest of foreign firms in India, and the reasons are the same, that they visualize India as a very, very important market. And of course, now with Bar Council of India, liberating the Indian market, Indian legal market for foreign firms to come in and collaborate, we would see many such more mergers and best friend relationships that will get developed, because the work is growing significantly. While Indian firms have the capacity to deliver, I am sure they would also look to collaborate with like-minded setups, small, same size or bigger, depending on the need of their practice. So very, very, very certain that this is going to be a great development.
Thank you, Shashank, for your time and giving us an anecdote on Mr. Advani. Appreciate your joining us and look forward to see you more on the next show. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tarun.